Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Raul and I'm gonna be giving you a great story time. This story that I'm about to give you has a accumulation of a couple of days. Okay. So let me start because hopefully I get this all right and I don't confuse you, because sometimes I confuse myself. I don't have this planned out. I didn't write it or anything. So I'm kind of doing it on the spot because I feel motivated. Anyways, so starting with the beginning, I got a new job in, well, my very first job. I'm not gonna say what it's called, but I work in an outlet area, like an outlet mall, and we sell leather bags, we sell jackets, Calvin Klein, Guess, leather stuff and jackets basically. And so it was my third day working there, and this French man walked in. And I'm supposed to be on the sales floor, which is me just interacting with customers and be like, hi, welcome to blah blah blah, and these are our specials and everything. I'm supposed to communicate with them to reach a goal that each associate has to like reach. So I really gotta talk to people. Like, I gotta be like, girl, I love that on you, even though it might be not that cute, but I gotta be like, girl, yes. Like, I really gotta talk to these people and communicate. And so this French man, he walked in, and I was like, oh my god, he's cute, let me get him. And so I told my associate, girl, I got this. And so I go to him and I'm like, hi, sir, welcome to blah blah blah. Oh, I do know, because he was looking at the leather bags, and I was like, the leather bags, I know, me being a boy, a boy, I do know that they are like on a great sale right now, so I would really recommend you to get a bag. The bag you have in your hand right there, perfect. Oh my god, it looks so good. He was like, oh yeah, you think? And his voice, man, his voice was, it was deep, and he had the French like accent. I didn't know where from Europe he was before he told me, but then he was like, oh, I'm a French man. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I got the little accent, and so he's like, oh, okay, really? I'm like, yes, the bag looks really good on you. And so he just keeps looking at them, and I'm still standing there. And when he looked at me for the second time, we made eye contact. Like, he got up from the bag and he goes up and he's like, and like he smiles or whatever, and I'm like, wow. And right there I'm just like looking at him, I'm looking straight at his eyes, and I'm like, yes, it's like on a great price, and I can show you some more if you want, well, whatever you need. And then he's like, yes, please show me more. And he's still looking at me, like the eye contact was like for a minute, and I'm like, yes. And so I'm just like, oh, please buy this one. I really recommend this on you. It looks very good on you. And then he was like, oh, okay, can you help me find some jackets? And I'm like, yes, sure. And so I help him find some jackets, and we actually spotted this like Calvin Klein leather brown jacket, and so I'm helping him put it on or whatever. And I'm like, oh, you want me to help you? Like really help you? He's like, yes. I'm like, oh, okay, so I grab his stuff, I set it here, and then I help him put it on. So I'm helping him put it on, and like I felt his arm or whatever. I'm like, oh. So I feel his arm, and he's like all big and all, like, he's a man. Like, this French man was a man, probably like around 30 something, like deep voice, tall French man. Oh. And so I feel his arm, like, oh, okay. Whoa, that looks really good on you. It looks very modern, very good. Very good fit and slim. And he's like, oh yes, I like it too. And I'm like, oh, okay, turn around, because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to tell the customer to turn around so I can have a look. And so he's turning around. I'm like, oh, you like it? I'm like, yes, I love the way it looks on you. And so again, we do the eye contact thing, and we were just looking at each other a little bit, like, whereas, like, for a minute, once again. Oh yes, I love the way it looks on you. It like even brings out your eyes. His eyes were like a navy blue, which is the second jacket that we were trying on. The first one was a brown, and then the second one was, I guess, navy blue jacket, because I helped him change for the second one. So I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, oh my god, it really brings out your eyes. And so he's like, oh, thank you so much. And so I help him take it off. That was the second jacket. I help him take off the second jacket, and I'm like, so are you interested in anything else besides the bag and the jacket? You know? And then he's like, oh yes, I found a lot of interesting things in the store. However, I think I'm ready to check out. I'm like, okay, my associate is ready to check you out. The accent, remember, his deep French man accent. He's like, oh, you can't check me out? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't do cashier stuff. He's like, oh, okay. And so he goes up there and he leaves, and I'm like, oh my god. But you know, the good part about that was that I got my sale for the day. It came out to be 300 something, everything, the bag and the jacket. So I'm like, oh my god, yes, I got like boosted up with my sale. And so I'm like, yay. But then the other thing was like, oh, this man, gone, and he had money, because I'm like, why would he really spent that much money on a jacket and a bag? I'm like, oh. Anyway, so he leaves, and I'm like, oh, okay. So then next day later, I'm like, I come back to work, and my associate was like, hey, remember the French man from the other day? He was here, and he was looking for a leather backpack. And I'm like, oh, dang it, I missed him. And then he's like, hey, he was asking for you. I'm like, girl, no, stop lying to me. And she was like, no, I'm serious. He was asking for you, and he was saying if you were here to help him. I'm like, that is so fucking annoying. Bitch, if I had more hours, I probably would have been able to catch him. And so she's like, oh well, I made my sale. She made 100 something. I'm like, okay, girl, whatever. And so, like 2 days later, I think, I have to, in my job, I have to have solid colored shirts or whatever. And so I had to go to Express, the store, something, the outlet store, I don't know what it's called, Express. And I got some solid colored shirts right there. I was looking for some, and while I was looking for some, I found them. And I was like, oh hi, do you remember me? And he was like, yes, I remember you very, very good. I'm like, oh, okay. And so in that moment I felt chills. I'm like, he remembers me very, very good. What does that mean? Bitch. And then I'm like, girl, that just means he remembers you very, very good. Why are you so extra? And so I'm really, really overthinking it at the moment. And then I'm like, what are you looking for? He was like, oh, I'm also just looking for like some dress shirts. Can you help me find some? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't work here. But he was like, oh, it's fine. But I was like, oh, but if you want, like, I could totally help you. Like, I know the store so good, but my lying ass, like, I've never been there. Like, that was my first time there. So he's like, oh, thank you so much. I know you're not getting paid for this, but if you want, after this, I can pay you for your help. I'm like, sugar daddy alert. Oh my god. And so I'm like, whoa, pay me just to help you find a shirt or something? I'm like, whoa, in my head, I'm starstruck. My mind blew right there. I'm like, pay me to help you. Oh my god. Girl, I will help you with anything you want. He ended up not buying none of the shirts, and it was all actually because of me. I was like, no, go somewhere else. The shirts here look very low quality, and they don't look very good on you. You have a great body, and you should go somewhere else. Maybe go to Gap or something. And he was like, oh, okay, thank you so much for being honest, and I'll be back. Hopefully you work that day so you can also help me there. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Oh, I don't really get much days there, which is why I'm trying to look for a second job, which is what I got now. And he's like, oh, okay. So he's leaving, and I'm like, oh man. But then I'm just like over here just looking at shirts. And then he comes to me, oh hey, I almost forgot, how much do you want me to pay you since you helped me so much? I'm like, oh my god, he remembered. Cause I helped him for like about like 25 minutes, it wasn't that much. And so I helped him 25 minutes, and he's like, hey, no, I'll pay you, with his French, like French man accent. And I'm like, oh, no, thank you, it's totally fine, you're such a nice man, I couldn't possibly take your money. In my head, I'm thinking, girl, take the money. Like, but I couldn't. Like, my natural instinct is to be humble, I guess. I don't know. And so he shakes my hand, girl. And let me tell you, right at that moment when he shaked my hand, I was like, oh, a man. That is a man. He shaked it so firmly, like his man was a man's hand. Just imagine a man's hand shaking you up and down. Oh man, hopefully I see him again, and hopefully the story time was not that like boring or whatever, boring the house. But I just thought it was a very interesting thing that I wanted to share with y'all, my subscribers. Or if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now. I have K-pop reaction videos, and I sometimes do some other videos. But anyways, I really hope it was a great video. If you liked it, if you liked this little short story, it wasn't really much of an outcome, much of a happy ending or tragic ending. It was just a little story that I had for y'all. But if I do see him again, I'll make sure to post a part 2 or something. But yeah, please give the video a like, and my social media will be in the description box. My Instagram will. However, my Snapchat will be right here. I'm really active on that one, so if you want to follow me on social media, I would suggest for you to do this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you until, I don't know, I'm not really sure, so just I guess next time.